The hallowed grass of center court at Wimbledon has witnessed countless moments of high drama. From epic five-set battles to shocking upsets that have redefined the sport, this is tennis's grandest theater. But rarely do we see the script flip from a masterclass in dominance to an utterly unexpected comedy sketch. However, that is exactly what happened when the seven-time Wimbledon champion, Novak Djokovic, took to the court against Stefanos Tsitsipas in the second round of the 2026 championships. It was meant to be a fierce rivalry renewed, a test of wills between the Serbian great and the Greek prodigy. Instead, Djokovic was so utterly in control that the match quickly became a one-sided affair. Yet, in the middle of this professional annihilation, the 39-year-old tennis icon found the time to not just play a game of tennis, but to orchestrate a game of psychological trickery that left a young ball girl fearing she had derailed a Grand Slam run. What followed was a moment of sheer panic, a collective gasp from the crowd, and then a wave of relief and laughter. This incident not only showcases the playful side of Novak Djokovic, but also highlights the immense pressure placed on the volunteer staff at major sporting events. In this video, we will dissect the moment that Djoker lived up to his nickname, explore the aftermath of the prank, and look at how this act of mischief became one of the most viral stories of the tournament. To understand the audacity of Djokovic's actions, one must first understand the context. The 2026 Wimbledon Championships were a critical point in the Serbians' never-ending quest for tennis immortality. Already holding 24 Grand Slam titles and tied with Margaret Court for the most in history, Djokovic was chasing a record-breaking 25th major. Seeded 7th, he was navigating a tricky draw that featured rising stars and old rivals. His second-round opponent was Stefanos Tsitsipas, a player ranked as high as number 3 in the world who had slipped in the rankings, but remained a dangerous threat. History favored the veteran. Djokovic had never lost to the Greek, holding an 11-0 record. However, tennis matches are rarely won on paper, especially at the All England Club. The expectation was for a fiercely competitive clash. From the very first game, however, Djokovic erased any doubt. He was impenetrable. He broke Tsitsipas's serve early in the first set, showcasing the incredible defensive skills and precise ground strokes that have defined his career. He secured the first set 6-3 in just 26 minutes. The second set was more of the same, a masterclass in aggression and movement. Djokovic broke early, weathered a brief storm from Tsitsipas who looked to fight back, and cruised to a 6-4 victory. In just over an hour, the match was essentially over. Djokovic was 2 sets to love up, and Tsitsipas looked demoralized. It was during this comfortable lead that the Serbian felt emboldened enough to introduce some entertainment of his own. A player who is 2 sets to love down is fighting for survival. They are tense, focused solely on the ball, and likely oblivious to everything else around them. Djokovic admitted this very fact in his post-match interview. He noted that the capacity for such playfulness only emerges when you are cruising. Tsitsipas left the court for a bathroom break during a changeover, leaving Djokovic alone on his bench with time to kill. This lull provided him the opportunity to call for an assistant, and the target of his jest was an unsuspecting ball girl. As Tsitsipas walked off, the camera crew noticed Djokovic attempting to fiddle with the black athletic tape on his right shoulder. It looked like a routine issue, perhaps a loose edge of the kinesio tape used for muscle support. But Djokovic was planning more than just a repair. He waved over one of the young ball girls stationed around the court. The instructions seemed simple. He needed the black tape trimmed. The young girl, probably a teenager and likely a dedicated tennis player herself, approached the situation with the utmost gravity. On center court, the pressure is enormous for the professionals, but for the volunteers, the stakes are just as high. They must be invisible and flawless. She was handed a pair of scissors. Her task was to carefully snip a piece of fabric or tape from the sleeve of the 7-time Wimbledon champion while millions watched around the world. The scene was tense, at least for her. As she leaned in, scissor blades poised near the star player's shoulder, she followed his instructions with the precision of a surgeon. And then the performance began. The moment the scissors touched the fabric or the tape, Djokovic pulled back his arm with a sharp, theatrical recoil. A look of intense pain washed over his face. He cried out as if the blade had just sliced through his skin. The ball girl's reaction was instantaneous and visceral. Her eyes widened in absolute horror. A terrified look crossed her face, and she physically recoiled, clutching her chest in disbelief. In her mind, she had just caused a catastrophic injury to a 24-time Grand Slam champion. She had cut him, and her entire body language screamed panic. She feared she had ruined Wimbledon for him and, perhaps, her own reputation forever. Claire Balding, commentating for the BBC, famously described the scene, saying the ball girl looked absolutely terrified. But the act of terror lasted only a split second. Djokovic, seeing the distress on her face, immediately burst into a wide grin and started laughing. He couldn't contain himself. The prank was over. The young volunteer, realizing she had been fooled, finally let out a breath of relief, placing her hand over her mouth as she broke into embarrassed but genuine laughter. The crowd, who had been silent for a brief moment, erupted into applause and laughter, appreciating the lightheartedness of the moment. The incident quickly became the talk of the tournament, overshadowing even the clinical 6-3, 6-4, 6-2 victory Djokovic eventually secured. The Serbian had made an impact, but not just with his racket. After the match, the questions on everyone's lips concerned the prank rather than his dominance. In his on-court interview, Djokovic addressed the moment with characteristic charm. He seemed slightly sheepish, admitting that such behavior only surfaces when you are cruising. "I guess these kind of things surface when you're 2 sets to love up rather than 2 sets to love down," he joked. He followed it up with a genuine apology directed towards the ball girl. "I'm sorry. I don't know if she's around," he said. "Sorry if I scared her. It probably wasn't that great of a joke, I guess." Despite the apology, he acknowledged that it helped him relax. "It made me a bit more relaxed." She was laughing. "It was a good moment for her as well," he added. On social media, the moment went viral almost instantly. The official Wimbledon account posted the video with a caption, "There's a reason they call him the Joker," further cementing the lighthearted nature of the event. ESPN also shared the clip, prompting a flurry of comments. Fans took to Twitter, X, to share their reactions. One user remarked, "She looked like she was about to apologize for ending his Wimbledon," while another wrote, "LOL, the girl must have had a panic attack at first." Others applauded his humor, calling his sense of humor top-notch. While Djokovic has often played the role of the villain on tour, this incident showed a more approachable, human side that resonated with the audience. However, the most heartwarming chapter of the story was yet to unfold. A few days later, as Djokovic prepared for his quarterfinal clash, he was reunited with the ball girl. Having retained his reputation as a family man and a prankster, Djokovic made a point to check in on her. The reunion was caught on camera. He approached her and said, "Sorry about the scare the other day. It was the Serbian sense of humor." The girl, far from traumatized, graciously replied, "Don't be sorry at all. I found it very funny. I thought it was good. You made me laugh." Demonstrating his appreciation, Djokovic pulled out a couple of caps from his racket bag and let her choose one, which he then signed. The young volunteer, still in good spirits, joked that she had been thinking about how to scare him back, adding to the wholesome narrative. While the scissor prank provided a charming distraction, it was crucial not to lose sight of the fact that Novak Djokovic was at Wimbledon to make history. The victory over Tsitsipas marked his 104th match win at the All-England club, putting him just one win away from tying Roger Federer's record of 105 wins. The ultimate prize, of course, is the record-equaling 8th Wimbledon title and a 25th Grand Slam crown. This lighthearted moment seemed to fuel Djokovic as he progressed through the tournament. His demeanor was relaxed, his movement was fluid, and his hitting was precise. "It made me a bit more relaxed on the court. I was just having some fun," he said. But relaxation doesn't mean complacency. He knew he was in the hunt for the biggest prize in tennis, and the pressure was immense. After clearing the Tsitsipas hurdle, he faced the rising star Arthur Rinderknech in the 3rd round. That match, and subsequent rounds leading to the final, would serve as the real test of his physical and mental mettle. In the end, The Joker lived up to his name, showing that even in the heart of the Grand Slam pressure cooker, he could crack a smile and keep his eyes on the prize.